I bet you can't tell, but I used to be about 200 pounds. What I'm going to talk about today is how adapting to a lower carbohydrate lifestyle helped me lose and maintain the weight that I hold. Lower carbohydrate diets are beneficial in many ways, but are used more often than not to lose or maintain your weight. Problems that people will find when trying to adapt to this lifestyle are that foods that contain large amounts of carbohydrates are cheaper than foods that are better for you. Foods like chips, soft drinks, candy contain large amounts of carbohydrates and are cheaper to buy than meat and vegetables. Fast food like burgers, fries are unhealthy in more than one way, but contain high amounts of carbohydrates when you add in the bread from the sandwich, the fries, the sugar from the soda, and the potatoes and the fries. And of course, are readily available and very cheap everywhere you go nowadays. But really, what's making us fat is two things: insulin and glucose. And I have a clip to show you and explaining how insulin affects your weight gain or weight loss.
When you eat too many carbohydrates, you raise your blood sugar. Since high blood sugar is toxic, your body releases insulin to bring it down. But your body can only burn a little bit of sugar at a time. So what happens to the rest of it?
Your storage sites for carbohydrate are limited, and we've got unlimited storage places for fat. So the body ends up just converting the carbohydrate to fat.
And after bringing down your blood sugar, insulin does its other job. It tells your body to store fat.
Insulin stimulates an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase that sends fat into the fat cells. So if insulin is elevated, this lipoprotein lipase is really activated and it's sending fat like crazy into the fat cells. So if you eat a lot of carbohydrates, your insulin goes up, you're storing fat in the fat cell.
So that was a documentary called Fathead. A great documentary that outlines a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about today. When insulin is released, it's because blood is containing glucose, which is also another name for sugar. Foods that raise your blood sugar that causes insulin release are foods that are very high on the glycemic index. And there's a great website that is called theglycemicindex.com where you can look at the foods and how they're rated on the scales. For an example, sugar is rated at 65. But whole wheat bread received an astonishing 74, which means that bread will cause your blood sugar to spike more readily than a spoonful of table sugar. According to Eat Up, Slim Down, an article in Shape, eating a low glycemic, fructose-free meal 2 hours prior to a workout prompts your body to use the fat instead of carbohydrates as fuel. High glycemic index foods show elevated blood sugar levels, increasing insulin, and which in turn hampers your fat burning. A lot of myths associated with lower carbohydrate lifestyles are people have been led to believe that fat is what's causing you to be fat. And in a lower carbohydrate lifestyle, you do tend to eat a little bit more fat than whenever you're eating a lot of stuff like bread, cereal, rice, pasta. The Pritikin diet, it states that fat is something you should not be eating. Some fats are bad, like trans fats, I'll agree with that, but your body uses fat as fuel. Certain types of fat can also be used to raise your good cholesterol and lower the bad, like polyunsaturated and monounsaturated, which can be found in Fathead. Cutting calories makes you thin is also another myth. It depends on what you eat, not how many calories you do. If you derive all your calories from empty carbohydrates like bread, pasta, rice, then you will not feel as full for as long, and it will be harder to resist temptations, causing a drop in mood, and usually convincing yourself just eat a little bit more. I know because I've been there all too many times. The solutions I've found is to at least start making meals with lower carbs. They keep you full longer, and you're less likely to succumb to junk food, which is found everywhere and is more readily available in the world today. It can end up being cheaper to go to a lower carbohydrate lifestyle when you factor in what do you eat on a daily basis. Do you run to the vending machine? Do you grab a soda? When you stop buying all of that snack food you use and stop the daily purchases of soda from the vending machines, it adds up very quickly, so you can put the savings into better foods purchased by the grocery store. And also, when you do go to the grocery store, keep in mind what all you can eat and take the food with you. Make your meals at home and bring the food with you. This diet also, in more ways, is good because it causes you to eat more vegetables if you are concerned with overall health factor instead of just losing weight. I know I did not eat as many vegetables as I do now, since salads are an easy alternative for as a meal replacement as a low-carb meal. Contain lots of vegetables, they pair with meat, and vegetables are high in fiber and low in carbohydrates. You can still eat food that tastes good though. Any kind of meat is acceptable paired with vegetables and cheese, and I'm sure that will satisfy most palates. When you go to a restaurant, you can always opt out for the fries and enjoy a side salad with your steak or chicken. Eating a lower carbohydrate meal can make you feel full longer and do not cause a spike in blood sugar, causing you to feel hungry faster and crash, and cause to eat a little bit more after that. This can be an easy diet to adapt to, since I'm not talking about cutting carbs completely out. Every once in a while is okay, but with anything, moderation is key. I do not advise to go by the 300 daily recommended value grams that the FDA says you should eat. Instead, try to lower your level just to see the effect it has on your weight. I found out that my body only needs very little to feel great throughout the day and to maintain my weight. Thank you for listening to my speech about why a lower carbohydrate lifestyle change can be beneficial.